Alright guys, this is the homework for section 3.4. In this section we do have to do a bit of algebra, so I would recommend doing the work on a separate sheet of paper. That's what I'm going to do right here. Alright, so number one, we're asked to write an equation of a parabola in vertex form. So if you guys remember vertex form, what that means is y is equal to a, open parentheses, x minus h squared plus k, where hk is the vertex. So here they give me the vertex, which is 2, negative 3, so I could just go ahead and substitute that into my equation here, which is y equals a x minus 2 squared plus k, which in this case is minus 3, so it's negative 3. Alright, now I'm still missing my a, and this is where the algebra comes in. So the second piece of information, it tells me that it passes through the point 6, 4. So that's the point that I'm going to use. So my y value is 4. So if I substitute into my formula here, I get 4 is equal to a times my x is 6 minus 2 squared minus 3. Calculate that out, I get 4 is equal to a times 6 minus 2 is 4 squared minus 3. 4 squared is 16, so I get 4 is equal to 16a minus 3. Add 3 to both sides, and I get 7 is equal to 16a, and then finally divide by both sides by 16. So my a is equal to 7 over 16. Once I have that, I can complete my formula here and just substitute in my value for a. So my equation in vertex form is y is equal to y is equal to 7 over 16, open parentheses, x minus 2 squared minus 3. Final answer number 2. Here it tells me that it passes through negative 3, negative 10, and the vertex is 3, negative 8. So far my equation is y is equal to a times x minus 3 squared minus 8. So we're going to do the same thing. Substitute in our point that it passes through. Negative 10 is equal to a times negative 3 minus 3 squared minus 8. Negative 10 is equal to a times negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6 squared is 36 minus 8. Add 8 to both sides. Add 8. So that's negative 2 is equal to 36a, and then divide both sides by 36, and that's negative 1/18 is equal to a. So my equation here is y is equal to a, which is negative 1/18, x minus 3 squared minus 8. Final answer. Number 3 passes through point 0, negative 5, and the vertex at negative 1, 4. So here so far my equation is y is equal to a, open parentheses, x, here it's negative 1, so that's the opposite, plus 1 squared plus 4, and again fill in my point here. Negative 5 is equal to a times 0 plus 1 squared plus 4. Negative 5 is equal to a 0 plus 1 is 1 squared is 1. A times 1 is a plus 4. Subtract 4, subtract 4, and I get negative 9 is equal to a. Right, now it's just a matter of substituting back in, so it's y is equal to negative 9 x plus 1 squared plus minus 5 plus 4. Alright, final answer. Number 4 write an equation of the parabola in intercept form. So intercept form, if you guys remember, it's y is equal to a times x minus p times x plus q. P and q, this should be minus. P and q are just your solutions, your zeros, your roots, your x-intercepts, however you want to call them. And for example, on number 4, it says the x-intercepts are 10 and 6. So if we want to put them in this form, it's always going to be the opposite. So if it's positive 10, then it's going to be x minus 10, and this one's going to be the same thing, x minus 6. So far, my equation in intercept form is y is equal to a, open parentheses, x minus 10 times x minus 6. The second bit of information is what I'm going to use to find my a. Here it's the point is 11, 8, so I'm going to substitute that into 8 is equal to a times my x is 11 minus 10, and then my x is still 11 minus 6. So here I get 8 is equal to a 11 minus 10 is 1 times 11 minus 6 is 5. So a is equal to 5a. 8 is equal to 5a, and then the last step is divide by 5. So from here I get a is equal to 8/5. Alright, now it's just a matter of substituting that into my vertex form. So my final answer should look like y is equal to 8/5 x minus 10 times x minus 6. Alright, number 5, we're still doing the same thing. X-intercepts are 2 and 8. So far my equation is y is equal to 8 times x minus 2 times x minus 8. And then I'm trying to find my a, so I'm going to use my second point. So it's 3 is equal to a times 0 minus 2 times 0 minus 8. So 3 is equal to a negative 2 times negative 8. 3 is equal to negative 2 times negative 8 is positive 16a. And last step is divide both sides by 16. Here I get 3/16 is equal to a. Alright, now that I have my a, I can go ahead and substitute back into my vertex form, my intercept form, sorry. So that's 3/16, y is equal to 3/16 times x minus 2 times x minus 8. Y is equal to 3/16 times x minus 2 times x minus 8. Right, number 6, my x-intercepts are negative 14 and negative 2. So far it's y equals a times, again it's the opposite, so x plus 14 and x plus 2. X plus 14, x plus 2. And I'm going to use my second point to find my a value there. So that's negative 8 is equal to a times negative 16 plus 14 times negative 16 plus 2. Negative 8 is equal to a times negative 16 plus 14 is negative 2, and negative 16 plus 2 is negative 14. Negative 2 times negative 14 is negative 28, positive 28. So I get negative 8 is equal to 28a, and divide by 28 for the last step. A is equal to, here they reduce by 4, so that's negative 2 over 7 for my a. And then go ahead and substitute back into your intercept form. So our final answer should look like y is equal to negative 2/7 times x plus 14 times x plus 2. Alright, number 7. Here it says use the parabola shown below. It gives me a little graph and then a series of questions. Write an equation of the parabola in vertex form. So here, vertex form is very similar to what we did first here. So that would be y is equal to a times, my vertex here is 1, 5, so that's x minus 1 squared plus 5. I'm missing my a, so I am going to go ahead and use this point here to find that a. So 0 is equal to a times negative 2 minus 1 squared plus 5. 0 is equal to negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3 squared is 9, a, and then subtract 5 on both sides, so this here should be a negative 5. And finally, divide both sides by 9, and I get a is equal to negative 5 9. So my final answer in vertex form is y is equal to negative 5 9 x minus 1 squared plus 5. Alright, that's vertex form. The next question, it says expand the equation part A form for that. So expand means just to multiply out and then combine your like terms. So here if I multiply this out, x minus 1 times x minus 1, I'm going to have to use FOIL. So x minus 1 times x minus 1, first times first, gives me x squared. The outside gives me negative x. The inside gives me negative x. And the last gives me positive 1. So combine your like terms and you get x squared minus 2x plus 1. Here is just my x minus 1 term. I'm still multiplying the entire thing by negative 5 9 and then adding 5 at the end. So this was just my squared term expanded, and I'm still multiplying the entire thing by negative 5 9 and then plus 5 at the end. So here I'm going to distribute that in. Negative 5 9 x squared. This times that gives me positive 10x over 9. This times this gives me negative 5 9. And then I'm adding 5. So these two I can combine. So my final answer should be y is equal to negative 5 9 x squared plus 10x 9. These two don't combine or anything, so I just leave them alone. Here I need a common denominator, so I'm multiplying everything by 9. And that'll give me 45 minus 5 is 49. This is your answer to part B. And this was A. Alright, part C says write an equation of the parabola in intercept form. I already know my A, which is negative 5 9. Now I just need to write it differently in intercept form. So I'm looking for my y-intercepts, this one and that one, x-intercept, sorry. So here I have y is equal to my A, negative 5 9, times x minus my intercept, so minus negative 2 is plus 2, open parentheses, x minus 4. Alright, here it's asking me to expand the equation in part C, so I'll multiply this thing out. Here I'm going to have to use FOIL again, so I'm going to pull out my extra sheet and do it on here. So here the equation I'm working with is still on 7D. So it's y equals negative 5 9, x plus 2, x minus 4. Here, as I pull this out, first gives me x squared. Outside gives me negative 4x. Inside gives me plus 2x. And then last gives me negative 8. Combining these two give me x squared minus 2x minus 8. I'm multiplying the entire thing by negative 5/9, and then that's it. So here times this, distribute that in, so that's y is equal to negative 5/9 x squared. This times that is positive 10x 9, and this times that is positive 49. Alright, so that's what we get after we expand it, and if you compare it to our part B, it should be the exact same thing. And it is. Alright. Part E says do both methods give an equation that represents the parabola. Which methods did you find easier? Explain. Well, both of them did represent the parabola. We got our quadratic, we have a square, we have a square, and now it's just a matter of opinion. Which one did you prefer? I personally prefer intercept form, but it varies from person to person. So just choose your favorite and then explain why. Here, my explanation would be that I find it easier at the end. Once you have this part, is just distributing it. This other one you have to do kind of one extra step, which is adding the two constants. Right. Number 8, last question. A basketball is thrown up in the air towards the hoop. The table shows the height in feet of the basketball after X seconds. Find the height of the basketball after 5 seconds. Round your answer to the nearest hundredth. So, then giving us 3 values. Here the basketball height is 6. Here the basketball height is 6 as well. 0 seconds, 18 seconds. So in this situation, my attack plan would be probably to enter it into your calculator and let's see what kind of regression we get. Alright, so once we get our regression thing going on, the next thing we want to do is go ahead and graph it. So to do that, go to Document, Insert, Insert, Graph. I want F1, so I push up, hit Enter. I'm going to get a nice little graph. And I want to know where it's 5 seconds. So I'm going to go to Control T on my table, and I want x equals 5. So my table says that at x equals 5, my y value, or my height in my model here, is 9 feet and 0.21, 9.21 feet. So at 5 seconds, it's 921 feet. So at 5 seconds, it's 9.21 feet. Alright guys, that's section 3.4. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments and I'll get to them as quickly as I can.